Hey guys, welcome back to the Brad and Zach Show. I'm Brad.
And I'm Zach.
And you may notice things look a little bit different right now. That's because, we're not in college right now. We're off for the summer. We're college students, so, we used to film videos in our dorm room, but right now we're kind of out for the summer. And just a heads up, me and Zach live about an hour away from each other, so we're going to try as much as we can to get videos out while we're sitting next to each other, but that might not always be the case. Sometimes, we may Skype each other and make a video, and we also may, make videos on our own and upload, but we're still going to try and get those out. So just a heads up, nothing's going crazy. We'll be back at it again in the fall, regular with each other. Yeah.
Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Exactly. So that being said, the topic of this video is going to be Donald Trump moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So, he did that this past week and things went crazy. There were riots and protests from Gaza, from the Palestinians, burning tires, throwing rocks, throwing Molotov cocktails, basically, trying to cause terror. Some of those riots were organized by Hamas. So naturally, they try to incite some violence. Over 50 Palestinians were killed, and around 2,000 of those were wounded by Israeli troops at the border. Again, these weren't just protests; these were riots organized by Hamas. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're watching the news.
So a lot of people, just to give you guys an update on what's going on, Israel and the Palestinians are arguing over Jerusalem and who it belongs to, but what actually happened back in 1948 was that Israel was declared a sovereign nation, and because of that, they have every right to claim where their capital is, and Jerusalem is inside the borders of Israel, so it's completely fair game, and Israel has every right to claim it as their capital. Presidents in the U.S., as far back as even Bill Clinton, have recognized nationally and internationally Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. So it's not just within their own country that they're saying Jerusalem is our capital, but even U.S. presidents are backing Israel as far back as Bill Clinton, saying that Jerusalem belongs to Israel and it is the capital of Israel. And that's making a lot of Palestinians angry, but that's just the fact of the matter. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. Congress even overwhelmingly passed the Jerusalem Embassy Act in 1995, which passed in the Senate 93-5 and in the House 374-37. And that bill called for the U.S. Embassy to be moved to Jerusalem by 1999. Unfortunately, though, all presidents up to and including President Trump have signed waivers to push back the move. However, President Trump has finally let this 23-year-old act be put into effect. So that's what's going on right now. 23 years worth of this being pushed away after it was overwhelmingly voted to happen by Congress. President Trump has finally opened the gates and said, all right, we're going to move the embassy to Jerusalem because it should be there, because Congress said it should be there a long time ago.
So like I said before, in response to this move, there have been protests and riots all across Gaza, the Gaza border, to Israel. But these protests aren't necessarily as innocent as they're portrayed. Yes, some of the protesters are innocent. They're just there trying to make a change. And it's awful that some of those had to die. But at the same time, these aren't just peaceful protests. These could even be called riots. Some of them are organized by the known terrorist group called Hamas. Hamas that wants to harm anybody inside Israel.
Mm-hmm. They've literally said, quoted, that they want to destroy Israel completely and all of the Jews in Israel, and they have done that before and they want to do it again.
Yep. They're burning tires, they're hurling rocks at soldiers, they're hurling Molotov cocktails at soldiers and trying to get them over the border. So, of course, like any other country, Israel has a right to defend its borders. And that's what they're doing. These protesters were also warned ahead of time not to make things violent. IDF has even airdropped flyers on the protesters beforehand, and I quote, warning against approaching the security fence, attempting to sabotage it or carry out terror attacks. I'm sure they knew what would happen if they disregarded that warning. And again, yes, it's awful that some of these innocent protesters had to die. But at the same time, how were Israeli soldiers supposed to know? If they ignored the warning and stayed with the rioters, and they chose to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, we can't feel all that sorry for them.
And overall, we want to declare that this is a good step for America. Palestinians burn American flags and they chant death to America. So why would we side with someone who hates us and what we stand for, and if they want us all dead? I think it's very clear that siding with Israel is the right thing to do, and moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem isn't officially a statement saying we side with Israel, but it's kind of letting everybody know that that's where we stand, that we are recognizing Jerusalem as the capital and saying we support Israel and what they do, we support Jerusalem being the capital, and we support them defending themselves from the evil terror attacks of Palestine, who chant death to America and try to kill the people inside of Israel. So this is a good step for America, and we're proud and we're glad that President Trump has done this and allowed Congress to move the embassy.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. We're really glad you stopped by, and we really hope you enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to check us out at Twitter at Brad and Zach Show, and comment or email us at wannatalkpolitics@gmail.com. Before you go, be sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything in the future. And of course, share this with somebody you know. Thanks again, and we hope to see you real soon.